Miscellaneous, this is where my slideshows show up. So if you decide that you want a slideshow or a static banner image, you can select here. Remember, since I published my slideshow, it's now an option for users to use. So I'll go ahead and select Animal Slideshow. Groups, by default, is going to be your group name. Multi-body, this is where you can plug in a heading, and then upon expanding, you can put more information. So I'll just do something quick here. Okay. If you want to do more than one heading to expand, you just go to the Add Another Item, and it will do that. Menu settings is something that we don't use in Web 1, so you can kind of ignore this tab. Revision information, we saw this in the slideshow. Once I save, the option for published will display. URL path settings. Okay, this is one to really mention to end users. So the way that Web 1 is I mentioned there's no directories and folders to organize information. So when you create a web page, depending on what your group name is, so we're in IT, you're going to have csun.edu/your group name / whatever the title of the web page is. So my URL, once I save this and publish it, is going to say something like /IT/ csun-farm-animals. And if you want a better, shorter, more vanity URL, the URL path settings, URL alias, is where you would change any of those URLs. So sometimes titles of web pages can be quite lengthy, but you don't want to turn that into a URL. So you can go and I would stick in IT/farm. You know, if I wanted it to say that as the URL instead. So that's a good tab to know about. And then the meta tags, unless I want to replace what it has already collected, you can leave this tab alone. So let me save this. It gives me a preview of what my page is, so I added that slideshow. I've got my content down there at the bottom, and then my multi-body or accordion. So if I click this, this is the information I typed in. You can't reorganize, so you couldn't have your accordion at the top. It does force you to have that below the body of the content. So if I want to go back in and edit this page, take out some text or maybe publish it, I could go to the edit draft and edit my text. Or just to publish this page, I can go to the revisions tab, which I haven't gone to yet, but I'll show you what that tab looks like. From here, you can select published. Make sure to log in a message if there's some type of change that you did, and then you can go to update state. Okay, so look at my URL up here. This would be what the URL is. So once you created this web page, you could copy and paste this URL and reference that from there. Okay? Questions about how the URLs work? Because we're used to seeing directories. In our old site, I would see for my area /IT/training/whatever, but there's no more compartments. It really does create the URL from the title, and you can adjust it from there if you want. Okay? All right, so Tina is going to hand out the first activity. So while she's coming and getting ready, you can open up any browser. The one that is preferred or that we've seen the least amount of bugs in is Google Chrome, which isn't installed on these. So you can select Firefox or IE, but just make sure that if you want a very stable browser, you can download that on your own personal workstation and go and use Google Chrome. The nice thing about Chrome too is you can use it on a Mac.